Hippie biker Jesus freak. How's it going out there, brothers and sisters of the road? All of us like doing road trips, and last summer I did one, and I took a few pictures. Didn't have any video equipment with me except for my phone, and because batteries going down and being on the road, I didn't want to take a lot of videos with my phone. Uh, it was easier just to take some snapshots. It's really great, photography is really gone fantastic. You can get real expensive cameras and do some really in-depth photographs, with some of these new digital cameras. But you can take some great pictures just with your smartphone. Ain't that great? But anyways, the slideshow is how I recorded my road trip last summer, which actually started on July 6th when my bike broke down after being blessed at Our Lady of Good Counsel Church by Father Josh. I left the church and decided to go to Toadsuck Harley Davidson and go check out their grill and chill. During the summer, the two local Harley Davidson shops here, they have grill and chills just about every Saturday, and where you can go get you a burger and get you a soft drink, donate some money to a good cause, and fellowship with fellow bikers and motorcyclists, and look at everybody's machine, look at all the new machines at the Harley shop, and have a really, really, really great time. Well, on the way to Toadsuck, I had a major fail on the rear pulley of my 2002 XL1200S Sportster Sport, and to be truthful, I thought, when that happened, that my riding season was going to be over with. Well, after I got my bike towed home and trying to figure out what I was going to do, I decided that I'd go in debt and repair the bike. And it was obvious I was going to need a new pulley. I was going to need a new rear wheel. So I decided to get new wheels for the front and back of Old Red. That's what I called my Sportster Sport, XL1200S. And got online to TC Brothers. It's a good supplier of parts, and I get no money for mentioning any of these people that I use, none of the businesses, because I don't have enough followers to get anybody to pay me any money to do anything. And I'm such an amateur doing this, it's pathetic. But anyways, I found, they had some really, really nice black rim spoke wheels I thought would look really nice on Old Red. And they had a nice old school looking sissy bar, which would be good to strap some luggage on. And anyways, I went to the bike shop over in Benton, Arkansas, Rebel's Den Cycle Supply, and talked to King Tony and say, hey, we got to get my bike fixed, and I like to, since we're going to need to put a new wheel on the back, let's put new wheels on the front and back, and let's get a sissy bar and put it on there, and get that new pulley on and everything. And King Tony, he got me all fixed up, and between the time my bike broke down, in 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks, 3 weeks time, and he got me all fixed up to make my road trip. And which was really amazing because, he had to order the parts. They had to come in. At the same time, he was moving his shop from one location to another, and still he was able to get my bike in there, get the parts on, and get me all set up, and so that I was able to take off on August the 1st. Anyways, I took it, left out of Arkansas early in the morning on August the 1st, and it took me about 20 hours to get up to Cleveland, Ohio. And riding on the Sportster, you got a 3.3 gallon gas tank on those 2002 models. You got to stop a lot. No big incidents on the way to Cleveland, except for when I was in Tennessee. I was pulling in to get some gas and do a water stop, and as I pulled up in front of the fuel pump, I noticed smoke coming down off down by my right foot. I looked down there, and my boot had caught on fire. And I guess I had been resting it on the exhaust pipe, and it burned a little hole into my boot. Anyways, since then I've got it repaired. Now I got a patch on my old boot because those are old Fry boots. And Fry boots are American made right here in Arkansas. I tend to try to buy American when I can. It's kind of hard to do. But we do have still got some good boot companies here in the United States to buy boots. And if you can buy American, buy American. Yeah, Fry boots are made in Arkansas, and the harness boots, they're American made, and as opposed to the harness boots that you get at the Harley Davidson shop, which are made, I believe, in China. But I'd rather have American made. It doesn't have to say Harley Davidson on it. Anyways, it finally, I did get up to Cleveland. And the reason I went to Cleveland is the Catholic Cross Bearers Motorcycle Ministry. They have their annual meeting usually the first weekend of August every year, and went up there to the business meeting and the rally, and had some great fellowship with my fellow Catholic Cross Bearers, and we visited a lot of different historical churches and shrines and things of that sort while we were there. And it was a really good time in Cleveland. They call it the mistake by the lake, but actually over the last couple of decades, they've really cleaned up Cleveland. It's a pretty nice place to visit. I don't know if I want to live there. I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, and the weather in the wintertime I really hate in northern Ohio there on the Great Lakes and Lake Erie. But anyways, spent the weekend with Cleveland, in Cleveland, in Cleveland. Hello, Cleveland. Anyways, had a real great time with my brothers and sisters of the Catholic Cross Bearers. And on the following Monday, me, the president of the Catholic Cross Bearers, Eric Woodrum, and a couple other brothers and sisters, we took off to Sturgis and headed on down the highway. And when we got up to the Chicago area, I decided that I wanted to make a detour, and getting up there in age and everything, all of a sudden there's a lot of things you haven't done and you like to do, and right now you still got good health to do it, so why not do it? And I told Eric and the rest of the riders, that I was going to split off from them and head up to Milwaukee. I already had planned, once I got into Wisconsin, split off to them and go visit my cousin Ron that lives in the central western part of Wisconsin, and go visit with him and spend the night with him, then go on to Sturgis the next day. But I decided at the last minute I wanted to go to the Harley Davidson Motorcycle Museum, and so I did. And I took a bunch of pictures and walked around, did the short tour. I didn't read every sign and every description on every display, but I had a pretty good time and took quite a few pictures of all the beautiful, beautiful motorcycles there. And it really shows you the line of cycles that Harley Davidson's made since 1903. And anyways, if you've never been to the Harley Davidson Motorcycle Museum, do it. Of course, on my bucket list, there's a few other motorcycle museums in the country I wanted to visit. There's at the Barber Vintage Museum outside of Birmingham, and there's the Wheels Through Time Museum in North Carolina. I might try to check that one out later this year, because I haven't never done the Tail of the Dragon, which I guess it's really become a tourist trap for motorcyclists. But I've been thinking about doing a ride from Arkansas over to Tennessee, ride down the Tail of the Dragon, get my picture of my motorcycle taken by the Tree of Shame, then go over to the Wheels Through Time Motorcycle Museum over there in North Carolina, and spend the night at Asheville and take a trip up into West Virginia maybe. We'll see what we do. And hopefully by then I might have some video equipment I can take some pictures and stuff while I'm on the road. But anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, went to the Harley Davidson Motorcycle Museum in Wisconsin. Those squirrels will distract you really quick. Anyways, after I left there, it was late afternoon, and I headed towards my cousin's house, and got caught in the rain. Terrible rainstorm after sunset. And I called my cousin and said, I might be a little late. I'm going to try to wait out the rain. And he says, I'm looking at the weather. It's going to rain all night long, brother. And I go, really? He goes, yeah, cuz I'm going to come down there and get you so you can get up here and get some sleep before you make the rest of your trip. So anyways, he's a motorcyclist too, and he hooked up a trailer, and he came down to where I was caught in the rain at the gas station and at the convenience store, and picked up my bike, and we had a real good conversation as he took me up to his house where he lives up further north in Wisconsin. Spent the night there, and after spending the night there, got up. Him and his wife made me a little bit of breakfast, and me and my cousin Ron, he rode with me a little bit as I, headed back to Interstate 90 to finish my trip. And anyways, he told me of a good back road route to take to get to head down to I-90, and we said our goodbyes, and I headed on down the road, and it was a good nice trip. It's good not to just stay on the interstates all the time when you're on a long trip. And in fact, it's better to stay on the 2 lanes if you can, and so you can see the scenery and smell the flowers. Anyways, I was planning on trying to go all the way to Rapid City, where my wife was waiting for me at her cousin's house. There was no way, being a married man, couldn't go on a long trip and leave my wife at home. But there's no way that 2 people can make a trip, especially elderly people. They're kind of a little bit overweight from, when with the age you kind of gain weight and stuff. Most of us do anyways. There was no way that these 2 senior citizens were going to make a long distance trip on a 17-year-old Sportster and enjoy it. And of course, a lot of people don't think you can make long trips on Harley Davidson Sportsters, and enjoy it even if you're riding solo. But that's not true. You can have a really great time, because I really love the Harley Davidson Sportster motorcycles. It's a great bike, great bike to ride. Anyways, in Rapid City, she has a cousin that lives there, and the night before I went on the trip, I flew her up there to Rapid City, and met her up there a few days later after I went to Cleveland, Milwaukee, and to my cousins. Anyways, I was planning on making that long trip on I-90 from Wisconsin all the way to Rapid City, and I really tried. I knew, to make that trip, I'd get there late in the evening. But as I got close to Sioux City, I noticed there's a big old storm coming up and everything. So I decided there was no way I was going to go to cross southern South Dakota on that Sportster in the rain. And it's a good thing too, because I found out later, there's always a chance of you running out of gas on that long haul between Sioux City and Rapid City. Anyways, I got me a motel room and spent the night in Sioux City, and got up early in the morning and took off the next day, almost running out of gas a couple times before I got to Rapid City. And I stopped at Wall Drug Store before I got to Rapid City and checked that out. I always heard about Wall Drug, and it's definitely a tourist trap. And I finally made it to Rapid City about 4 o'clock in the evening. And it was a really, really, really good trip. But anyways, you noticed I hope you enjoy the pictures that I have on here. I probably have too many pictures of the museum, but everybody loves pictures of old motorcycles. Anyways, I do. And I hope to make more slideshows. And I hope to, as I get more equipment, to make more videos. And hopefully I'll get a little bit more professional here on this channel. But, don't just sit back and wish to do something. Just go out and do it. We're into motorcycling. Don't think that you have to have a street glide or an ultra glide or a gold wing or something of that sort to make long trips. Especially you younger people, make the trips. Get out on the road. Don't just ride around town. Don't just go from bar hopping on your bike and looking cool or trying to look cool, looking like a biker or whatever. But get out there and plan some trips, man. I mean, especially younger folk. I mean, you get it. If you got a 3-day weekend, look on the map and say, yeah, I'm going to go here. Camp there, stay here, or it's vacation time coming up. Plan a trip, and don't wait until you have the perfect motorcycle to do it. My first long trip, I was 19 years old. I had gotten discharged out of the Army during the first time, my first enlistment, and I was stationed in Fort Hood, Texas, and I had a 350 Honda CB 350, it's a 1971 model. I thought it was kind of cool, though. I had ape hangers on it. Wish I had a picture of that. I don't, though. But anyways, I got, separated from the Army, and I had some guy that was from Toledo that was getting out a few weeks later. I gave him a box of stuff to haul up to Toledo, Ohio, where I was living at the time, to take back home for me. And I had a duffel bag full of clothes and stuff. I strapped it on the back of that 350 Honda, and I left Fort Hood, Texas, and headed out to Toledo. I think it's about, I'm not really sure how long a trip it is. About 2,000 miles, maybe more. Anyways, I traveled from Texas through Arkansas, through Tennessee, and into Kentucky, and I even broke down in Kentucky and had to have someone come down from Toledo to pick me up. But it was still great to take a trip. But I was doing it on a 350 Honda, and really what caused the bike to fail was a really, really simple fix. It took a friend of mine, about 3 minutes to figure out what was wrong and fix it. And all it was is that the points vibrated loose, and while I was on the trip. And my bike was back on the road. I just wasn't knowledgeable enough of my machine at the time, or I could have fixed it while I was on the road and finished my trip. Did the last 200 some miles up to Toledo. But anyways, don't let the machine that you got decide not to do something, and don't let people, if you own just a Sportster, and people says, well, you can't take a long trip on a Sportster. You're crazy. You can't do that. Oh, yes, you can. If this old man, 64 years old, can get on a 17-year-old Sportster, pack it up full of stuff, and head out and over a 10-day period, do 3,500-mile long-distance trip, that any younger person that's in their 20s, 30s, can do it too. And, you can do it on any machine that's probably 500cc or bigger. If you do it on your own, you can do it. Don't be afraid to get out there and ride. Motorcycling, so many people think that you can't do things on on different machines. You got to have a certain type of machine to do something. And I'll tell you what, you can look at those big touring rigs, and they're beautiful motorcycles, and they're built for touring, and it are the perfect machines for touring. But a lot of the people that are buying them are not touring. A lot of them are showing up at Sturgis. But as I was going down Interstate 90 to Sturgis, I'm cruising at 80 miles an hour, which is the speed limit. And, the faster you go on a bike, usually your gas mileage gets worse. And a Sportster having a 3.3 gallon gas tank and going 80 miles an hour, my gas mileage dropped dramatically. And but anyways, going on I-90, I'm just cruising along, enjoying the scenery, and these big old pickup trucks, these new pickup trucks that are actually sedans, I think, because they got 4 doors. Anyways, they're supposed to be pickup trucks. And they got trailers, and they got 2 or 3, ultra glides or street glides on them. They're heading up to Sturgis. And I look at it and I go, man, the person there's got a $30,000 motorcycle that's built for touring, and he's hauling it to a rally. There's something wrong with that picture. Anyways, I know there's a lot of good reasons to trailer a bike. Like for some elderly people that can't make long trips on motorcycles. But if you're spending $30,000 or more on a motorcycle that's made for touring, but you're going to trailer it, why do you need to buy a $30,000 bike? Why don't you buy something a little bit more comfortable that you're just going to ride short distance and trailer it when you go long distance? It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, I'm not being judgmental on anything. Ride what you can afford, ride what you want, ride what you believe in, appreciate everybody on the road. Appreciate the other man's motorcycle no matter what it is. Don't think you're better because you can afford more than the other person. And don't be envious of the other person because he can afford more than what you can. It goes both ways. Enjoy motorcycling. Go on trips. And anyways, this is Hippie Biker Jesus Freak. I hope you enjoy these photos. I'm going to... The slideshow... it's not done very professionally, and I know my voiceover is not very professionally. I'm just sort of rambling on, but that's what old men do, right? We get on our rocking chairs, and we say, well, back in my day, that's what we do. But back in my day, last summer, I took that trip on that 1200 Sportster Sport, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed the slideshow. I hope you enjoy the pictures. Get out there and ride. Be careful. And God bless you all. And till the next time. Wait a minute. I got one other thing I want to talk about. I'm going to do another slideshow from way back then when I've got a bunch of old photographs that I took when I was living over in Germany and of motorcycling over there. Which you should enjoy. But after I get this loaded up, I'm going to start working on a slideshow for that and maybe have it posted up in about a week from now. Anyways, this is the Hippie Biker Jesus Freak. And if you think you would like to subscribe, hit subscribe. Please hit like and share my videos and slideshows, whatnot. And as we go along through the weeks and years and whatnot, I hope I can get a little bit more professional. Mainly it's going to be take more equipment, and I come up with some good ideas to share with you. And get out on the road and enjoy life, enjoy the road, enjoy your motorcycle, and give praise to the one above, and love your family. Until the next time, Hippie Biker Jesus Freak. God bless you all.